Yo, what up, what up? Welcome back. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a rundown, all right? We're going to cover two disciples that I mentioned on the last show. So we'll touch base with Andrew, faculty of the mind, strength and courage. We'll also touch base with James, faculty of the mind, righteous judgment, all right? Righteous judgment is going to get deep. We'll touch base with that second. I'm going to touch base with Andrew, and we're going to slide right through this. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make this one of my quickest or fastest videos. I'm going to just give it to you how I normally would, but I'm going to see if I could kind of pick up the speed a little bit so we could actually get right through this, all right? So I'm going to give y'all a few more seconds, and then I'm going to instantly jump it off because we're going to make this a quick one if we can, all right? Cool. All right, so I'll let everybody just chill out for a little bit. We'll do a few more seconds. Let me line up my notes, get everything ready, up and running. Cool, cool. All right, cool. So I think the time is now. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to touch base with Andrew first. And I feel like Andrew, this is definitely, a faculty of the mind that a lot of people need to take control of. I see it day in and day out that people have the tendency to tear themselves down, all right? Tearing themselves down is not taking control over that disciple. It's not taking it to the next level, all right? If it's strength and courage that you're trying to equip your body and mind with, and you're trying to improve in however much you currently have, you're trying to get more, the last thing you want to do in any way, shape, or form is tear yourself down, all right? So what we're going to reflect on, knowing that small piece of information, what we're going to reflect on is what you recognize, you energize, all right? So I said that time and time again, and this is where and when it's going to make the most sense, right? Because we're trying to strengthen a faculty of the mind. We're trying to strengthen that courage. We're trying to build your strength overall, and that's in the mind. We're trying to have you encounter situations and things. We're trying to have you encounter situations, and when challenges face you or obstacles, whatever you want to categorize it or call it, you don't actually tackle it with the I can't mentality, all right? Because what you're going to realize is anything you tell yourself that is difficult, it's now showing a weakness within you. So it's easy and simple. All you got to do is categorize the things that you encounter as easy. They're simple, right? Simple and easy. Why? Because God is within you. God is at your side. So at no point in time would you ever fail or be challenged to a point in a degree that you can't break out of it. Because why? Because God is at your side. He's inside you. You know what I mean? That full control, that potential is within you. Whatever you put your mind to is what you will produce and materialize. So now when you bring it into this area of what you recognize, you energize, the last thing you want to recognize is faults, mistakes, any adjectives you want to add at the end of I am that you want to call yourself. People say, they forget something and they say, I'm so forgetful. They put that, they attach that to themselves, that God that they are, they attach that to them. And is God really that? Is God really any of those negative things? Not the God I know myself to be, or I'm sure not the God you categorize yourself to be. God is usually, which is with the title G-O-D, he comes as infinite, all right? Knowing that it's infinite, you got to imagine that's the perfection. That's the hundo, that's the whole stack, 100%. So God as perfect, the last thing you want to do is tear yourself down with the I am this, I am so dumb, I am this, people do that, I'm so dumb. They get into little things at work and they kind of knock themselves down, not realizing that those thoughts slowly materialize into what and who they are over a period of time. They could call it what it is, but if they say it enough, they'll eventually, at some point in time, begin to believe it. And if you keep adding forgetful at the end of I am, or you keep adding mistakes, faults, things that, listen, this is not really who you are in your divine state of mind, right? So that's not what you ever want to see or acknowledge. You don't really see or care for that. You don't want to, you want to strengthen your strengths, not strengthen your weaknesses. So by strengthening your strengths, you want to energize your strength. So bring all the goodness, bring all of what you want to be, what you are, what you really are. Bring all of that to the forefront. That's how you recognize it. So whenever you say I am this, that, and the third, and it's all in a positive state and manner, that's what you're gonna energize, right? So when you're dealing with strength and courage, how do we get it? You recognize it. When you recognize it, you energize it. So don't ever get in a situation and have God within you and feel challenged in any way, shape, or form. You should be able to take yourself up out of that loophole two ways. Either one, you pre-set your mind to what you want to create, right? You already set, hey, if you want to generate a certain amount of money, you want a certain car, you want a certain this, that, and the third, you need to position your mind because that's where it starts first. We already been here. We already touched base with this, right? So once you get it there, then you start to materialize that, bring that into the light. That's only going to happen when you touch base with the strength and courage that you have within you, within the God power that is in you. All right. I'm telling you right now, the last thing you want to do is encounter those situations and go into a state of being a prodigal son, forget that God's at your side, and think at any point in time that there's something that you can't do or something that you're not able to overcome. It's all able to be overcame, that got to be it. But you got to make sure that you actually have that state of belief within. You got to make sure you know and understand that strength and courage is within. You got to tap into it in order for it to actually work for you. All right. Let me see in my notes what I actually have in here. And I have my stuff where, I like to touch base with things like this. Jesus is the God conscious mind in man, right? But you got to bring it to yourself. You got to bring it to yourself. So you throw it out there. Jesus is the God conscious mind in me, right? Jesus is the God conscious mind in me who knows who and what I am in God and who and what God is in me. All right? It makes a lot of sense once you process it. And what it breaks down and actually gives you the understanding of is that God power is within you. All right. Them two ways that I told you you'll come to your future, your conclusions, is one is predetermined based on what you project in your mind, or at the time of your scenario. Let's say you jump in a situation and you like, oh snap, like how do I get out of this? Like, my back is up against the wall. I got to do this. I got to go here. I got to go here. There are certain ways to do what they call overcoming on the spot. All right. When you want to overcome on the spot, the number one thing you want to do is you want to drop that negative or quote unquote bad thing that's actually happening to you and start to project what you want to happen into your mind to bring it into reality. It is what you do naturally, right? If you walk up to your crib is on fire, you like, well, I know I want the fire to go out. But a lot of people will see the fire and be like, well, let me get the extinguisher. And don't get me wrong, this is what you're supposed to do. So go get that extinguisher ASAP, because the goal is to get the fire out. You're just not going to think it away. But the idea behind you going and getting that extinguisher is actually for you to see what you actually want to happen in your mind first. That's why you even went for the extinguisher. You said, I see my house with no flames, but that's only if I grab that extinguisher. So it happens on the spot. It happens on the spot. But the thing about it is some people fail to do it at certain points in times. They don't understand the importance of it, but it'll happen at a desperate emergency just like that, because that is how you will see your crib. You probably might see it blacked out, in a different physical way, but you'll definitely see the fire gone within your mind, and then that thought within milliseconds pushes you, boom, you already off and running, grabbing the extinguisher, putting it out. And before you know it, what was projected in your mind is slowly materializing into reality. And then you see in that house out, and you see the smoke coming, ashes dropping, So that's how you do it. You overcome on the spot. It's a way to master your strength and courage, a way to encounter obstacles and not face them in a way where they seem hard or difficult. I tell my son all the time, there's nothing that's hard, there's nothing that's difficult. Don't make yourself look weak. All right. Any man who walks up to a situation, you got a whole bunch of people. One man talking about, yo, last time I went and did that job on that job site, it was hella difficult, bro. I was out there just trying to do this, da 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 da. They go on. And come to find out, the next man comes up and he starts sharing that same energy. Yo, if you go work for this man, they're going to have you working real, real hard. It's like real difficult. You're going to be out there, da 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 da. And then what happens when the third man comes in and he's like, well, damn, that's easy. Everybody's like, oh, wow, instantly. It's an instant click, instant mind. This is the mind science of it. Whether they want to acknowledge it, whether they want to be the bully on the block and be like, nah, I don't give them no credit, this, that, and the third. Whatever everybody's giving credit to being something that's difficult, the moment the next man comes in and says that it's easy and he could bypass it with no issues, there's an instant click in everyone's mind as to who that man now is. One, he's willing to take challenges. Two, he even finds that challenge to be easy when everyone recognizes it to be difficult. And the next thing people will want to see is for him to act out. I want to see him perform. I want to see him actually master that challenge he's calling easy. Now, with God at his side, and when he does, that's what's going to take it to that next level. You know what I mean? So facing those challenges, I'm telling you, facing those challenges, having that God power within you, I'm telling you, when you're in that bind, I am strong. Knowing that strength and courage is actually there at your side within you. You just got to activate it. And what you'll realize is over a period of time, the more you activate it, the more improved it actually starts to become. And the better it gets, the better you become, the stronger you become, the more courage you have. So it's good news, man. I'm telling you, it's something real that if you hold on to it, it's a gem in your back pocket that people don't know what's in your mind. So they don't know how real that is. That faculty of the mind, they don't know how strong it is, but they could see it in you. They could see strength and courage in you when you start to go up to any situation and you like, yo, I could do that. Let me challenge, you ever walk in a situation and you're like, damn, that's crazy right there. I had one the other time, this thing came in the mail, like, mind you, it's a whole bunch of screws, this, that, and the third came in the mail from like Amazon or something like that. And it had no directions, bro, no directions. Now, mind you, I could work my hands with some screws and tools, this, that, and the third. But when you're not giving me directions, just all the screws, just everything just flat out, and ask me to put it together, bro, you got to tap into strength and courage. You either return it and delay the time or whatever. If you're on a timely fashion, you're trying to get it up and ready, you either delay that or you're going to tap into strength and courage and you're going to put it together. What I did is I tapped into strength and courage and I put that joint together from the bottom up, bro. You know what I mean? Somebody else would have looked at that and been like, man, I'm a fall back. That's a little difficult for me. I'm a fall back. That's not something I want to really tap into. I can't. And then boom, that's it. You saying it in action. You know what I mean? Tackle that. You want it put together. You had it ordered. You had it come in on a certain day and time. Put that joint together, bro. Tapping into that strength and courage makes you somebody brand new. I'm telling you. Let me see in my notes if there's anything else. Yeah, so I just, basic, same thing I'm saying over and over again. Just make sure you recognize, don't recognize your mistakes. Don't recognize those problems. Don't call yourself forgetful. And then jokingly, that's also something that I want you to always realize, even in a jokingly fashion. The subconscious mind does not actually recognize when things are jokes and when they're not. It just recognizes everything for what it is. So if you say something and it's in a joking fashion, regardless of if you like it or not, the subconscious mind is still going to read into it the same way it would as if you was taking it very serious. All right. So cool. Yeah, I like this. Whenever your negative traits come up, do not give them the power of your recognition. Don't strengthen your weaknesses, strengthen your strengths. So that's a good one. I really like, in the sense where it gives you the idea to just look, man, don't focus on those problems. Don't focus on those things. You ever had that dude, especially at your like your warehouse jobs or your lifting jobs, and you have that dude come through with the bad arm. He got the bad arm, he got the bad knee. You know what I mean? And they always want to bring that to your attention. But do you realize that that makes you weaker? Now, I'm not trying to square up and fight with nobody, but you know the moment you throw hands, you just told that man you got a bad shoulder or a bad knee. The moment something really go down physical, you know where he's going. Other than that, that's on the physical note. Let's be real though. On a mental note, it does tell the other person that they need to take it lightly with you. They need to take it easy, right? You want to get on the other side because you're bad knee. You wanna you want to carry the light stuff because that hurt arm. This is the stuff you got to realize. So when it comes down to that strength and courage side of things, you'll realize that what you recognize, you energize. So when you recognize that bad arm, that bad knee, that's what you will energize. Not only will you energize it within yourself, but you'll start to energize it from people who's starting to take it easy on you and give you all types of compensation in different areas. Now, if you that type of dude that likes things the easy way and you happy that you have to go lift lightweight, not work with the heavy stuff, then so be it. You know, there's many ways you can make things like that happen. We're talking about real stuff, real stuff. People that really into, he's down. I'm like, yo, he's down. He's ready to come through. He's ready to lift like everybody else lifts, you know. But he's really serious about his bad arm. So what do you really do in that situation? Because somebody might be looking like, but bro, I'm saying, if his arm is bad, his arm is bad. Now, this is the thing. Let's put a little disclaimer. If you have already, let's say this, if you've recently been working out or exercising, or you've done something of the nature to injure your arm, and that's a situation or injury that has recently occurred, so it recently happened, and you're in process of recovery. You're in the recovery process. You're trying to get better, and you need to take it easy. I understand. That is something you want to disclose. Bro, I just left the doctor. He said, take it easy. Don't lift nothing more than 50, and I'm good. I could do anything else. I understand that. We talking about that dude that comes around, and anytime he see, oh, y'all lifting stuff? Oh, bro, oh, yeah, you remember that arm, right? Remember like 2 years ago? And it always be like an old school injury. You remember like 2 years ago, like when I was lifting that thing? Yeah, my joint never came back 100%. That's usually how they come off. And what they start to find out is some of that pain, it was never really there prior to them thinking about it. But it starts to come in the moment the thought is starting to generate. And especially the moment when they think about the fact that if they were to lift anything, it would instantly have an effect to that injury. So that all will boil up within their mind and conjure up the thought that if I touch that and I lift that, that's going to trigger their injury. That's going to make it worse. So how do you bypass this? Because what you recognize, you energize. So the idea in this situation would be to do the opposite, right? Don't recognize it. Don't recognize it. How many of y'all have ever woken up? I like the sprained ankle because that one is like the best one. Because you go to sleep in pain, right? Because I get them all the time. But you go to sleep like in pain. And this happens to a lot of injuries, cuts, burns, things like that. When you wake up in the morning, bro, I'm talking about milliseconds of opening your eyes. Don't you notice? You don't really feel that injury from like a day ago or 2 days ago or that busted knee. It takes that second where you're like, oh yeah, my knee. Oh yeah, it is in pain. And you're like, oh damn, it is in pain. I mean, I do. Now it's a different story if you have an injury, let's say to your hand, and you're sleeping on the injury, right? The moment you wake up, you're sleeping on it. So you probably going to feel something. That's different. I'm talking about that internal one, such as the sprained ankle, like I just said. So you got the sprained ankle. Bro, every time I wake up, I'm like, bro, I'm Gucci. Step out that bed, skirt. Oh, yeah, this thing. Oh, okay, yeah, I gotta work with this thing. I forgot about that. It's how it be where the mind, when you gotta make sure whatever you recognizing is what you want to energize. So in that situation, you can't forget that you have the sprained ankle. That's the situation you got to deal with. I'm just talking about when you actually go to sleep, you usually are in pain, which is my case and scenario. And when I wake up, it'd be like no pain, at least for the first 5 seconds. The moment I think about it, it starts to flare up and come back, you know? So that's where it's at. What you recognize, you energize. So energize your good in life. Energize whatever you recognize. Recognize I am strong, I am successful, I am prosperous, I am rich, I am healthy, I am whatever else you want to add to it that makes that makes you become that. So that's simple and plain. Recognize that and you'll energize that. Easy money, right? Let's yeah, I didn't want to put this one out there. We 20 minutes in. I know y'all rock with me to the whole thing though. That's what I like so much. But it is something that I do want to put emphasis on. It says, whenever your weaknesses and mistakes and forgetfulness, stupidity begin to rise up, shout them down with the word of God, the word of good, by saying, I am strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. All right. I know I got to hit y'all. I like to hit the scientific side. I like to hit the spiritual side because I think when you intertwine the two, you get the result that I see, which is like, it seems to be the path that helps give it the best understanding. So the next thing is that religion has actually taught us to emphasize the negatives. Religions have actually taught us to emphasize the negatives. And that's something that we know to be the case. Every time I go to church, when you sit through, I love the church part, and I never understood why this was the case, but I love the church part where when you would go to the church and they be dancing with the music and all that, everything is cool in the beginning, but then you get over to the preacher side, when that side to come in, bro. Whenever the preacher is talking about something you have done, bro, tell me how you feel. When he be like, yo, this, he has his little sermon, and this one might be on like theft, or something might be on like, whatever you have going on in your life that you have done wrong. And when he's covering that, you almost like, man, you do not feel good. What you're gonna realize in order to transform, in order to change, remember you have to change by the renewing of your mind. Remember that scripture that I read? Oh man, where is it? I want to say it's Romans chapter 12. Be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. So I'm just telling you, in order for you to displace the negative, you have to replace it with a positive. How do you bring negative to the table? Hey guys, we're all going to talk about negative stuff. And the next person's like, all right, so how do we get rid of it? All right, we're going to talk more about it. Number one, talking about it is a case. And number two, you're not displacing the negative. You got to put the positive in there. So the preacher probably has a balance. Hey, you shouldn't steal, should steal. This is what happened when you stole. But what happens when the sermon doesn't have anything related to anything negative? It's just a positive sermon. It's just a positive sermon. How would you walk out of there? Feeling good? Or feeling like, man, that sin that I did, oh man, he just told me how bad someone else had it. I could have it the same way. You don't feel good coming out of that. You feel better coming out of a sermon where they spoke nothing but positives, nothing but goodness, righteousness, right? Righteous judgment. That's the direction that we're going in. So we've been at it going for 24 minutes. I think I really covered Andrew, strength and courage. Gave y'all an idea of how to tap in. Utilize the affirmations, I am strong. If you want to add in the Lord and the power of his might, that's a power that I feel brings me closer to believing that it is true. If you want to add the end, you can add the end. You can keep the scientific side. You can keep the spiritual side. You could add the spiritual and the scientific side and make it all become what I think is the way, right? But that's just for me. That's what makes me better. You do what makes you better. Let's move on. We're going to move and touch base with James. Son of Zebedee. All right. So there's two James. There's James the Less, and then there's James, the son of Zebedee. I think the other James is the son of Alphaea. And we'll touch base with that James at a later time. We're dealing with the third disciple, James, faculty of the mind, righteous judgment. All right. Now, this is one that I'm going to put it all on me, right? A lot of people might fit the script, but I'm going to put it on me. And where I'm going with this is when you're dealing and talking righteous judgment, when you're dealing in that direction, this is talking about judging people and things. Now, I had my wife ask me up to today. She said, well, what happened to that guy, Anomaly, that I used to watch? And I said, I just don't watch a lot of the political stuff anymore because she asked about Anomaly, but I'm speaking on this as a general statement. But what I find to be very true in the political world, whether you be on either side, in the political world, what I find to be true is there's a lot of judging, right? And the teaching that I'm learning is you must only deliver righteous judgment. And what I know to be something that people like to do, especially nowadays, because of the age of information, people like to take the judgment and base it off of stats and statistics and things that they've come to conclusion with and feel that it applies to you. This is where they go wrong, okay? This is where I myself was a prodigal son. I was away from God and thought that I needed to be out judging people and saying who needs to do what and who's running the country the wrong way or the right way and what's up with the presidency and what's up with just going on and on about how people should do things and what they should do, when I needed to really focus on me, right? Because being out there and being judgmental is a form and way of really judging myself. Because as a man thinks, so is he. So just like I told y'all with the last disciple, in what you recognize, you energize. What you're going to realize when it comes to righteous judgment is as a man thinks, so is he. So however you judge that man, you'll find that you're really judging yourself. Be careful in what you tell somebody, because calling them this, that, the third, you are stupid, you've already said it to yourself in your mind first, and then you vocalized it. So you told yourself that first. You made that something to you, and then you positioned the direction you wanted to go in, but you said it first to yourself. You don't even want to entertain those thoughts. Now, what if you only gave righteous judgment? Your hair looks so nice, or you're doing great at the job that you're doing. You knowing that the guy has made several mistakes. He's not probably the best candidate, but you're giving that righteous judgment of, hey, I see you're trying really, really hard. I see you're working at it. You're doing great. You're doing well. Now, somebody might say, well, boy, he's not. But I just told you, you need to displace the negative with a positive. How are you going to get a positive if you keep adding a negative onto it? So tell that man what you want to see in him, right? He's not doing the best at his job. He's messing up here and there. But when you see him, he has something that he's doing. He's not 100% doing everything wrong in every single way, shape, form, and fashion. He has some qualities that are in there. So it doesn't live up 100% to what you're making him out to be. That little bit that he has is what you want to credit, which will slowly become what you want him to be. Not saying that you're making him that, But I'm just talking in an environment where you have a higher up and a lower employee, and you're wanting to make the best out of that employee, right? And you notice that he's not doing the greatest, and you're trying to give him righteous judgment and push him up to the top. It's not going to come with telling him how much bad and how much he's messing up and what's going on. It's actually going to happen when you bring awareness to those things, but at the same time, you need to displace the negatives with the positives and bring him back up to speed. A lot of people just shoot the negatives and leave him down here. No solution, and just leave him wandering, not knowing where he's going to go next or what's going on. So you got to focus on righteous judgment in that sense. What I did, again, running my political channel, went and told everybody what things that they should do. Now in here, so you have, let me get to some notes real fast, and I'm gonna finish that out. So the Lord's servant, so that's the other one too, is you don't judge yourself and don't judge anyone else to the standards of the world. All right, don't judge yourself, don't judge anyone else to the standards of the world. That's to say like this: don't judge yourself and don't judge anyone else to the standards of the world, such as people who feel if you've been raised in a home without a dad, so fatherless homes, people feel that those usually equate to a certain result. Based on statistics, based on facts, they found that to be true in certain situations, right? But it's not 100%. It's not 100%. When someone throws a statistic at me and I utilize my God mind, God power, divine hearing, Simon comes in, I say that's not for me. Oh, well, 80% of those who grow up in a fatherless home are bound to be locked up behind bars. Blah, 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 they go on and on and on. And all you got to look at the situation and say, all you got to do is just say, that's not for me. That might be for the next man. The statistics that y'all running, I don't give, if that statistic ran all the way up to 80%, the 20% that it didn't apply to, that's me. I'm probably going to add in and make that 21. But the 80% that you're coming down on and saying that they're going to end up with this result in this way, that's not me. They didn't have God by their side. Or maybe that's the destiny that they wanted for themselves. That's what they projected, and that's why they have it. Clear as day, that's what it states to me. But what I'm saying in my situations that I'm placed in is I have that full control and power over the situations that I'm getting into, right? So when I deliver that righteous judgment, I'm careful in what I say and how I say it to people, because I don't judge myself according to the standards and the statistics in the world, and I don't do it for anyone else. If someone comes up to me and they say, I want to have X, Y, and Z by tomorrow, I want to own a Lamborghini in 2 weeks, I'm not here to say, well, the statistics show that there's only 5% of the world owning a Lamborghini, and that means that you're really low on the chart. I mean, all of that judgment is not the way that it's supposed to be done. That's the way that I carried myself when I ran my channel in the past. I generalized and took all of what I've seen in the numbers and shot people's ideas and things down, because I said, well, 80% says that this is not going to happen, so you might as well forget that. And I say, well, 20% says that, and I would go on and on about the statistic and play into that and make that part of me, and not understand that this is in my control with God within me, that it's in my control. So why would I push it into the projections that another man has created, right? It makes sense to me when I make sense of it. When I just think about it, it makes so much sense. So going on, we're going, let me see. So we have true to righteous judgment. Yeah, so that's the main thing, is as a man thinks, so is he. What I tell y'all, they say we are in the view. All right, give me 1 second. I like this one. There is no other power other than thought. My thought is my personal ruling. Let me get into some stuff, just some notes. James has wisdom. James knows better than to judge negatives. James has more wisdom and understanding than to go around looking for evil to pass judgment on. So that's what James was learning and understanding. He had that wisdom to not walk around and pass judgment on the next man. Just like what I was saying, I was out there passing judgment on the next man, especially based on statistics. Even all the way down to the presidency, right? They're going to look and say, well, the polls are down and da-da-da-da-da, and this is happening, da-da-da-da. So this president has got to be bad. They instantly throw out the judgment, right? Instead, and it doesn't matter how you feel about the president and what's going on, righteous judgment, right? Find something good. Remember, there's nothing that's 100%. I'm going to give you some stuff that's 100%. I am is 100%. That's law, right? What you recognize, you energize. That's 100%. That's law. As a man thinks, so is he. That's law, all right? That doesn't change. Under no situation or circumstance does that change. So I'm trying to get you to understand that this is like, it's meant for you to break and shake some of the old ways of thinking that you probably even know or think is normal. It's normal to say his jacket is dirty if it has dirt all over it. Your jacket has dirt all over it. It's dirty. Well, it's not dirty to him. To him, it's the probably out of all the 20 other jackets he got, that's probably the cleanest one he got. So to you it's dirty and to him it's not. Watch your judgment. Watch your judgment, right? To him it's clean. Your definition, it ain't clean, right? That's going to be him and his judgment, righteous judgment. Just tell him, hey, very, very, very interesting jacket. Leave it at that, you know? As a man thinks, so is he. So you are everything you think. And as you judge yourself. It's not a judgment telling you what to do and what not to do. It's the law of the mind. Yeah, I agree. What you see is what you get. What you see is what you get as you watch your subconscious. As you watch your subconscious mentally judge all these things. Don't judge poverty, even to those who appear to be poor. Yeah, I mean, I understand that too. So in this case, you know, I told y'all, don't judge anybody who appears to be poor. I mean, people that say the simple side of it, like, oh, he probably got holes in his shirt, but he probably got $1 million in the bank. That's the simple side of it. The realistic side of it is to simply not judge anybody in that sense, right? Because the only way anybody knows if they are rich is when they say, I am rich. We covered this, right? I'll cover it one more time with y'all. This guy over here got $1 million. He got 2 million. He got 5 billion. No, he got 1 million. He got 1 billion. And he got 1 trillion. Who's rich? Some people will say all three. Well, the guy with 1 trillion, I don't think he think the guy with 1 million is rich. He has a different perception. So his perception is changing on what he categorizes as rich. The guy with 1 million is like, I'm Gucci. I'm not really sweating it like that. I got 1 mil sitting up. So in his world, he's rich. The guy with 1 billion says, 1 trillion, a little too much. 1 million, that's the mediocre days. So the guy with 1 billion, he's sitting Gucci. He thinks he's rich. So at the end of the day, the only way to categorize if you are rich is by telling yourself, I am rich. So for you to point fingers and try and say who's poor, who's rich, who's this, who's that, that's only going to put you in a situation where you're left not looking like you know what you're talking about, because you'll encounter a situation with a millionaire, a billionaire, and a trillionaire. And you might call all three of them rich, but the trillionaire doesn't call the millionaire rich, and the billionaire doesn't call the millionaire rich, and the millionaire thinks he is rich. It's categorizing based on the person, right? So that's where I'm at, where you got to watch your judgment, righteous judgment, right? I don't get out there and shoot the negative vibes and Somebody might call it negative. It's however the person wants to take it. But All right, so we're going to get more onto the lesson and keep it moving. All right, some notes and stuff I want to cover. All right. So never judge anybody to be sick. You judge good health. Look right through the appearance and see the Christ, the Son of the living God. So you don't even judge sickness. Oh, he's sick. Oh, he's sick. Oh, he's not feeling good. Y'all know who I'm talking about? Alzheimer's, or what do y'all say the president has? Whatever they say the president has. They go on and on about what they think he has. It's all his judgment all over the place. And I'm not out here to judge anybody else. I'm just trying to teach a lesson, just so y'all know. But right there, is it set in stone where people try and judge sickness? Hey, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. It's not in your business to be out there. You just judge good health. So you say the good points, the fact that he can walk, the fact that he can get up every day and make it to from point A to point B is what you really want to judge. Judge what you want to see. If you see, yo, man, I know this. You've been getting up, going from state to state. You've been going from country to country. Bring it down to earth. Bring it to your family. Yo, I know that you've been going to work every day. You've been doing good. You've been da-da-da-da with your, they have a hurt knee or something's going on. But you don't acknowledge that. You don't judge that side. You just let them do what they do and push what you want to see, especially when it's on the positive and what they're trying to push towards as well. So you want to push with them. So Jesus was able to heal people who appeared to be sick because he saw through the appearance of evil, right? He didn't see that he looked at the sick and didn't see the sickness because he said, wait, hold on. I think I messed that up. I think that's like an extra sentence. I meant to start right here. He looked at the sick and didn't see sickness because he said to the paralyzed man, take up your bed and walk. Remember that? So he told the paralyzed man, bro, just grab the bed. You Gucci. Let's get it. And that's where it was at. The man picked up his bed, started walking. So right here it clearly states, if he had judged sickness, he wouldn't have been able to bring healing to that man. So the moment you'd be like, damn, I don't know if I could fix you after that. All that judgment is so normal. It's so normal. Be like, damn, bro, I don't know if we're going to come back after that one. But in actuality, you shouldn't be seeing what you're not going to come back from. You should be seeing what you want to project into your future. So you see in that situation like, don't even say it. Like, all right, so we're going to move that box. All right, so let's get that one from point A to point B. I can see it right here. So move that up, and then we'll build a whole wall across the side right there. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You get that boom, boom, that step back and start going forward. Start going forward with the God within you, because you know he's not going to let you down. So right here, if he judged sickness, he wouldn't have been able to bring healing to that man. He said to the man with the withered arm, stretch out your arm. If he had seen the withered arm, he wouldn't have been able to heal his hand. So that's the thing. It's like you got to see through what you don't want to see and see into that person's divine self. See the things that they're doing that are good, especially helping them become more of what they want to be, right? That person wants to get up and start to run, but he could only get up and walk a little bit. And you see him running, you see that. You just know, like, I can see him. I just see it. I could just imagine it. I vision it. Every leg up and down. You hear the steps. Boom, boom, boom. You position that in your mind, and slowly over time, you can generate what is by law. And y'all know the miracles that happen all across the board in those hospitals. But you got to go talk with a doctor to really get the real detailed, deep info. But they'll tell you miracles for days, bro, and they don't understand. Because nobody understands the God power. You just seek that end result. Put it within your mind. Focus on what you want to project and see. Tap into the God within you, and you off and running. Whenever you say I am and add something to it, you are making a judgment. I am well. I am happy. I like that. Whenever you say I am and add something to it, you're making a judgment. I always added, you say I am is what you become, but you are making a judgment. Because if I say I am happy, I just stated that this is the definition of happy. Change my mind. I'm making judgment on what I think is happy. When I say I am healthy, I'm making a judgment on I am healthy. I'm stating that this is healthy. I think I could run like 2 miles and still be good. I could lift like 200 plus pounds on a bench. You know what I'm saying? To 20, 25, 30 pull-ups. So I'm judging myself and saying that I am healthy. That's righteous judgment in a good way. You never want to judge yourself in that negative way. So that's it. So the righteous judgment is something you want to continue and maintain. All right. You need to hold on to it. It's one of the realest things that you're ever going to have, because what you'll find is that as you judge others, you slowly realize that you're judging yourself. So it could get a little scary, right? I told y'all before, saying something as simple as, you are so stupid. You are stupid. You've already said it to yourself in your mind. You already said it to yourself. You already called yourself that. And now you have to project it out verbally and take it to that point. So that's it. That's exactly how it works. So I want y'all to think about these things as you go throughout your normal daily life, right? I dropped that bomb on you about Simon, first disciple. Faculty of the mind is right hearing, right faith, rock faith. Remember, when you touch base with right hearing, the next thing up is Andrew. So I heard the right stuff. Now I got the courage. I got to tell my son every day before he goes into school, the affirmations, the things to affirm to himself, to know that's what he is and what he wants to be. That needs to come in through right hearing. He needs to hear it not only just through his ears, but he needs to hear it with the God mind and understand that he can activate it. When he knows now, I can activate it. How much does he have? How much does he have? Strength and courage. Andrew, next up. He's ready to activate his God power within. He's ready to have a successful day, not be faced or challenged with any obstacle. He's now out there. Dad's no longer around, and the last thing he heard was the affirmations to himself and who he is. Those same affirmations that he puts into his mind at the point where he then becomes Andrew, the strength and courage starts to increase because he knows he's that. So strength starts to increase. When the strength increases, if you're walking around extra stocky and know what type of weight you could put up, you got courage. You're going to walk into a lot of situations that a lot of people are back out of. The next thing he's going to move on to is James. Because judgment, when you get into a point where you have the strength, you diesel, you cocky, you ready, you could tackle any situation. But what situations are you going to tackle? Are you going to jump into the next man's business? Are you going to jump and tie your thoughts and your mind into something that you have no part of? Something that's not changing you, something that's not helping you get closer to your goal. You tie your mind and brain into that. After tying the mind and making the connection, you start to judge. Naturally, you will judge. Your subconscious will judge. And all that judgment you're putting on another man is putting the same judgment back on you. So you got to be real careful how you use them. Don't abuse them. And make sure you put them to the forefront in every situation you encounter. You'll find these 3 disciples will not let you down. At a point in time, the disciples went to sleep. Right? They had to be woken up. Bruh. You know what I mean? And like, come on, we got a job to do. This is how we do it. This is how we build it. The faculties of the mind is something that has to be built. All right? It's not something that you're going to roll into overnight. because it's usually built through belief. The more you believe it, the more it starts to become true. So when you get into a situation and you encounter an obstacle that was previously a problem, and now you're actually overpowering it and plowing right through it, that's when and where you start to realize how real this stuff actually is. And over time, that strength and courage builds. Your judgment starts to build. You don't tamper with things that are outside of your business and control. You just deal with what's revolving around you. As a man thinks, so is he. What you recognize, you energize. All right? I am. The 3 laws, y'all gonna realize that they're 100% every single time. They never fail. Every single time, applicable in every way, every situation. It's not, oh, now it's only 95% applicable. Now it's only 96% applicable. The moment you see one man talking about another man, and you're looking at the video and you hear him calling them this, that, and the third, as a man thinks, so is he. He already told himself that 40 times before he put it on cam. I'm gonna let y'all sit on that one for a little bit, but I'm gonna get up off this one. The next one I got for y'all next week, I want to say is the next one is going to be so deep. It's having to do with how to shed negativity, forgiving and forgetting, really trying to get you off to a brand new page. And then we'll touch base with more on the Disciple series. Y'all know what it is. I'm gonna get up off this one. Yeah, I'm out.